Okay, and now for one last bit of painting today, we're just gonna do what I said earlier and just kind of revise the sides of the eyes here. Just trying to make them look ever so slightly less sloppy, if you will. But as I always keep making mention of, you can always revise as many times as you want. Plus, if you're going flesh color over black, you might need to do a few coats with it. So, don't be surprised if you do. And I'm also going to kind of do the eyebrows here since they look kind of bad. Just to kind of overpaint the places I overpainted so it will not look so bad. But probably another coat of paint will be needed on the eyebrows, so I might even be doing this again. But it's just kind of to get it a little bit closer to what we're thinking we should have here. And yeah, so just a bit more touch up of Mario's face, and the hardest part of the whole paint, as I always say, will be done. Because getting it, especially if it's like a licensed character, getting the character to kind of look like, oh my god, where did you get that big Mario statue type deal? Not with people knowing that you actually just made and painted the statue, is kind of one of those uncanny valley things you want to get to, because then people are kind of saying that your painting skills are good enough that you could probably make the real ones for Nintendo if you really wanted to. But yeah, I probably just made a bit of a mess of that, but for now that's okay, and we will go ahead and revise more, and then probably go back to our shoulder that we did earlier. Okay, at this point of the process, I would honestly call the face like 95% done. The details are looking nice. Like, the only thing I really have to fix is, if you see there's a little bit of the black here has to be kind of redone. Just kind of the fine details that I have to hash out. And then I'm going to go back and make the hair look a little bit better. I know there's a little bit of extra like material there, but you know, it's hair. It's not that it has to be like the smoothest in the world, and it's kind of one of those things. Once the clear coat gets over it, you won't see that. I did do a little of extra paint on the mouth. We're just going to wait for that to dry, and then I'll see. But yeah, what I will do is I will do my final revisions on his face and on his head. And then when I get back to you, we're going to be doing the M on the hat. I will go ahead and pull a lot of reference material for that, because as I said, I don't like how they did it there. And I just want to make mine look a little bit better if I could. And then after that, we will focus on the body a bit. I'll smooth out that shoulder and see if I can get it to look a bit smooth. And then we'll look at his hands and his feet. So I'm going to do more revisions on Mario's head, and then I will be back to you. Okay, well, Mario's face is nearing final now. I have a couple of small touch-ups here and there that I will do when some of the paint that I just applied dried. And the funny thing is, earlier I had done the mouth in the sparkly metallic red, and I didn't notice until I saw it. So the metallic red that I had poured, I used to revise the mushroom a little bit. The red on it looks a little stronger. Of course, I did a full coat on his hat, which now looks a heck of a lot better. But we'll get back to the face later, as there's a couple little things, but as I said, he's probably about near final. As I said, I don't like how I always see his mustache and his eyebrows black. I mean, what is Mario using, Just for Men or something? Because his hair is brown. Maybe he thinks it looks more manly, or maybe it's like a weird Mushroom Kingdom mutation. That's all I can guess, but I figure it looks much more consistent that his eyebrows and his hair are all brown. But yeah, I'll go and revise those a bit later. But what I'm going to focus on next is I'm going to just take some fine grit sandpaper, sand this down a little bit, and get some red paint on that and the rest of the shirt. and see if I can shore that up a bit and make it look a bit better. And then I will get back to you. So basically all I'm really going to do with this is just get enough of this down that it's, how do I want to say it, smooth. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I just don't want that. It's like there's such a obvious, there's such an obvious like hole there that you can see the arm was attached. But I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I will get back to you if I have something else I need to tell you in the process of doing that next part. But yeah, let's get to it. Oh, okay, and as you can see, we just did that nice coat of paint on the shirt. It looks a lot stronger now. Of course, a bit of an overpaint on the overalls, but that's what I'm going to actually focus on next, is getting the bright blue on the overalls to be a bit stronger. Our revision on the arm looks better now. It's not perfect because you're still joining two parts, but it looks a heck of a lot better than over here where you can obviously see a hole between them. But what I'm going to focus on next is the pants, because as you can see, like at his pant leg, there's some areas where it's a little bit light, so we're going to give it a good strong coat of that bright blue paint. And then what I'm going to do after that, which I'll probably get back to you after I'm done the pants, is do a little bit of revision on the hat before I do the M, and then we'll get to those hands and try to make them look a little bit better, since with some of the material here they need a little bit of sanding, but not too bad. And then of course the shoes are kind of the last thing, because when you're painting the figure, you're handling the shoes a lot as a holding point, and the more you handle acrylic paint, the more it will come off. So I'm going to go ahead and just give a good coat of paint to those overalls, and be right back with you. Okay, now one thing I kind of wanted to show here really quick is you'll notice the pants now have that nice extra coat, but big brushes such as like that one, they do broad strokes. So when you're doing something like I just did, you need to come in with a smaller brush like this, and then just kind of get in the smaller areas where your big brush would necessarily not work so well. So any of these like smaller areas that do need some touch up, you just need to kind of get in there with the smaller brush and just kind of touch that up and, you know, make it look all nice. Because unless you want to keep painting, over painting, and doing that about 30 times during the whole thing, you kind of need to touch up these small areas with a smaller brush. Even though it does take a little bit more time, it's not that bad. And under his armpit here, it's a little bit rough. We're going to go over that again after I sand out that material that's on the back of his arm. And that should look okay then. And then we're going to get over here. If I can turn him, see where the extra material was. We're just going to kind of paint here to kind of simulate the overall goes to the side of his neck here. And kind of try our best to make that look as smooth as possible. But yeah, that's one thing to always remember. Like, your broad strokes are good for your large areas, but you do have to come back with your touch-up brush and get into those small little areas here. So what I'm going to do next at this point is after I'm finished doing a bit more of the small touch-up areas on the pants, is some white touch-up. So the first thing I'll do is the hat. I'm just going to basically go like up here. I just have to do a little bit because I did overpaint ever so slightly there. And then when that's done, I'm going to get back into the hands, kind of smooth them out a little bit. You'll notice it's a little jagged here since the hand kind of went on the arm and kind of formed this part where they join. But just kind of a little bit of this, then maybe a little bit of the white on the mushroom, and then we will come back and I will show you what those hands look like, and maybe we'll be painting the M on the hat. So we'll be right back. Okay, now if you've seen here, I've kind of used a pencil to draw what I think it should look like. It's probably going to look a little bit different than what I drew, but it's kind of going to be a better guide than just kind of trying to freehand it here. Because if you've ever done any painting, You think to yourself you're so good at like freehanding any kind of design, and then you go to do it and it ends up looking nothing like what you're looking for. So let's go ahead and give this a shot so I can get it as close as I can to what I'm thinking. And as I said, I'll probably go over this a few times, and of course the pencil mark that I made is kind of heavier than it should be, but you kind of get the idea. Just to generally get like that M on there, if you will. Because what I'll do is, the first coat of paint on this M is going to dry, then we will go over it again, touch it up a bit more, but I just want to get the general shape of the M just kind of here, and then I can revise it as much as I need to. And of course, other coats of paint over this are going to make it a bit more, look a bit more better. But that's kind of our general setup here until I do some more touch up on it. But we'll let that bit of paint that I just painted on it dry, and then we will go over it a few more times so it will look a bit more like this is like New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe. That's kind of what I was going off of, because I knew the M was a bit more blocky than the swishy looking M that they had on the picture I was looking at before of the example for this. But yeah, we're going to let that dry, and then I'll go over it again, I'll touch it up, and we'll do a bit more for that. And in the meantime, while I'm letting that, I'm going to do more revision on the clothes. Eventually I'll get to the shoes, but as I said, they'll be last. I might do what they kind of did here and go for a lighter brown, because I do have a golden brown color, but we'll see. But regardless of anything, that's kind of just our one of our getting close to final details here. I'm going to like touch up the mushroom a bit more and give it a bit of more attention and hopefully get that looking better. But yeah, Mario is getting here. I'm going to go out on a limb and say maybe today will be the last painting day for Mario, and we might have him done today on his general paint, and then any touch-up and clear coat another day. But yeah, so I'm going to just kind of do just a general touch-up on all the major surfaces now, and I will be back once that's dry and we can do some revision on it, because it does look like the M that I made there is a little bit like too fat, but at least it's the right shape that I wanted. And as I said, I can revise it once the paint dries. But we'll be back once I do more touch-up. One more quick trick I'm going to show you here is I am going to try to replicate the gold buttons they did there. But if you paint gold directly on blue, it's not going to look so nice because I do have some metallic gold paint. So what I will do here is I'm going to take some of this tan paint and paint that. And then what happens is when the gold gets painted on the tan, it actually looks a lot better than if it were painted on the blue. And then I may not need to do as many coats of the gold paint and still have the same effect. So I'm going to go ahead and paint both of those buttons tan, and then when that dries, I will paint the gold paint over it, and it will end up looking good because the tan will just take to the gold will take to the tan a bit better. And yeah, now that I'm looking at theirs again, I'm seeing how bad that M is. He just more or less did one of these, and that's all. But we'll go and revise our M next time, and we will paint our buttons gold, and I will see in just a minute here once all the paint dries. Okay, well, we are back here. I have done 2 coats of the tan paint on the buttons, and I will do the gold paint on those in a little while. But there's one thing I just wanted to fix here, is the eyes. The black outline should be like all around the eye, and there's some areas where I don't have it, and it looks kind of bad. So all I'm going to do right now is just go around the whole edge of the eye with the black outline and just get that a bit more consistent, and then I'm just going to touch up with the blue anywhere where I have the outline too thick or too thin. I'm just going to try to make a consistent black outline around both of the eyes, Any areas where the black looks a little bit weak, I'll redo, and then we'll call the eyes done. But you'll see the M, I've gone over it several times with the red paint. I'm just trying to get the pencil marking not to be shown anymore, and then I'll use some white and I will shape it so it's a bit blockier looking and a little bit less bad. But yeah, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take care of those eyes, and then I'll probably be back to you when we're doing the gold on the buttons. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Okay, and as you can see, those black outlines look pretty good. As I said, I'll come back with the blue once the paint has dried and kind of just touch up anything that doesn't look quite good. But now all I'm going to do right now is get this bright gold paint here and just go ahead and paint it right onto that tan. And as I said, it just gives the gold a nice sheen to it instead of kind of looking dingy, which is how it would have looked if I just painted the gold straight on the blue. And as you can see, yeah, it's coming up quite nice. I might do at least 2 coats on this, and then any gold or tan that's kind of outside of the realm of the button will then just be gone over with the bright blue again, and look like it's not an issue anymore. But yeah, that's pretty much what we did here, and we just got to let those dry, throw another coat, and then pretty much the buttons are done. They're not really all that much of an issue since they're a fairly simple part to paint because they don't have like any crazy curves or any complex details. But that's what we got there. I'll be back to revise the eyes and the M once I stop seeing the pencil marks, which we're getting there. It's like slowly becoming a thing. But yeah, I'll be back in just a few moments with those last 2 details, and then we'll probably do like a full once over of the whole character, help the hand a little bit because there's a little bit of nonsense here that's like not looking so nice. But yeah, Mario is, I'd say the whole Mario is like 95% done. I'll also do a nice, probably do that golden brown on the shoes so they're a bit lighter, but we'll see. But yeah, that's where we are now, and we're just about done here. So, get back to you in just a minute.